The Grand Chamber of the Galactic Confederation buzzed with activity as representatives from 127 different species took their places. The massive room featured tiered seating arranged in a perfect circle, with special accommodations for each unique alien physiology. Some delegates floated in liquid tanks, others perched on specially constructed platforms, while many sat in conventional seats. First speaker Taewon stood at the center podium. His tall, slender form was draped in the traditional blue robes of his office. He raised 4 of his 6 limbs for silence, and the chamber gradually quieted. Today we consider Proposal 7829, the classification of Planet Sol 3, locally known as Earth, Taewon announced. His voice was calm but carried throughout the chamber. Our survey ships have completed their assessment. The planet is rich in resources, metals, water, organic compounds. The native species, humans, have developed basic technology but have not achieved faster than light travel. Screens around the chamber displayed images of Earth, its blue oceans, green continents, and sprawling cities. Then came pictures of humans going about their daily lives, oblivious to the alien observers who had been studying them. Trade Minister Hyun-ki, a reptilian being with shimmering green scales, rose from his seat. The potential value of this world is immense. Our calculations suggest mining operations alone could yield 30% higher returns than our last 5 acquisitions combined. The human population also presents a significant labor resource. Many delegates nodded or made their species equivalent gestures of agreement. Resources were always in demand, and new labor sources were valuable. Senior scientist Jiho stood next. Unlike most of her peers, she had spent years personally studying Earth from a research station in the outer solar system. Her small form seemed tense as she addressed the chamber. I must advise caution, she said. My team has observed unusual patterns in human development. Their technological advancement rate exceeds standard models by significant margins. More concerning is their adaptability. In just 3 centuries, they progressed from basic mechanical devices to nuclear technology and primitive space travel. Several delegates shifted uncomfortably, but Minister Hyun-ki waved his clawed hand dismissively. Every species seems unique until properly managed, he said. Their military technology is primitive compared to ours. Our pacification fleet can secure the planet with minimal losses. Resource Director Banhwa, a massive being whose body resembled a collection of gelatinous spheres, added her voice. Earth's mineral deposits alone would supply our manufacturing needs for decades. The classification decision is clear. Jiho tried again. There's more. Their social structures show unusual flexibility. We've reviewed your reports, interrupted Security Commander Du-woo. His metallic voice echoed from a hovering platform. Their weapons are chemical and nuclear, no match for our shield technology. They have no unified planetary government. These are hallmarks of a Class 4 serval species. Taewon called for order as several delegates began speaking at once. We will now proceed to the vote. The question before us, shall Earth be classified as a Class 4 serval planet, allowing for full resource extraction and population management? One by one, the delegates cast their votes. Jiho watched with growing dismay as the tally grew. Some species voted yes out of resource hunger, others from a genuine belief in their superiority, and some simply followed the majority. The final count appeared on the main display, 127 in favor, 0 opposed. A unanimous decision. Taewon struck the ceremonial gong that hung beside his podium. The vote is recorded. Pacification Fleet Delta will depart within the lunar cycle. Standard protocols apply: initial show of force, communication seizure, strategic occupations of government centers, and establishment of control zones. The chamber filled with satisfied murmurs as delegates discussed potential profits and resource allocations. Only Jiho and a few members of her research team remained silent, their expressions troubled. As the assembly dispersed, Jiho approached her former mentor, Elder Q1. They don't understand what they're doing, she whispered. Humans aren't like other species we've encountered. Q1 placed a comforting hand on her shoulder. It's decided now. Perhaps your concerns are overblown. The Confederation has successfully managed dozens of similar species. Jiho shook her head. Not like this one, she replied. I hope I'm wrong, but I fear the Confederation has just made a terrible mistake. As they left the chamber, the massive view screen displayed the deployment orders already being transmitted to Pacification Fleet Delta. The invasion of Earth would begin in less than 30 days. The massive alien ships appeared without warning. One moment, Earth's skies were clear, and the next, 12 enormous vessels hung in orbit like dark moons. Each was shaped like a flattened disk with glowing patterns along its surface, and each measured over 5 kilometers across. Panic spread across the planet. Emergency broadcasts interrupted regular programming, social media exploded with frightened messages, and people gathered in streets and homes to watch the skies. Military forces worldwide went on high alert, but their radar systems could barely track the alien vessels. Fleet Commander Sungmin observed Earth's reactions from the comfort of his command chair. His translation systems processed the flood of human communications with ease. Their response is predictable, he noted to his second-in-command. Begin the standard announcement. Across Earth, all electronic devices capable of receiving signals, televisions, radios, phones, computers, suddenly displayed the same message. The aliens spoke in perfect local languages, their words calm and matter-of-fact. People of Earth, the Galactic Confederation has classified your species as Class 4 Servile. Your resources and labor now belong to the Confederation. Resistance will result in disciplinary measures. Compliance will be rewarded with preservation of basic living conditions. At the United Nations in New York, world leaders gathered for an emergency session. Secretary General Junho, a normally composed diplomat, struggled to maintain his calm as alien representative Minsu appeared on the main screen. We wish to discuss terms, Junho began, his voice steady despite his fear. Surely we can find a peaceful arrangement that respects Earth's sovereignty. Minsu's face showed no emotion as his translator converted his speech. Negotiation implies equality. Your species has been legally classified. The matter is settled. But we haven't agreed to any classification, protested the Chinese delegate. We have our own laws, our own rights. Your agreement is not required, Minsu replied. The Confederation has jurisdiction over this sector of space. You will be treated fairly by the standards approved for your species category. When the meeting ended without progress, Earth's military forces launched their planned response. Fighter jets, missiles, and even nuclear weapons were deployed against the alien ships. The results were devastating, but not for the aliens. Their vessels easily absorbed or deflected all attacks, and their retaliatory strikes were surgical and precise. Military bases around the world went silent as alien energy weapons disabled their power systems and communications. Within days, alien landing craft descended on major cities. Sleek shuttles deposited control teams who established bases in government buildings. Resistance was met with non-lethal but painful suppression technology that could disable humans at a distance. In Seoul, Dr. Heijin watched alien soldiers patrol the streets from her university laboratory window. Unlike many colleagues who had fled, she remained, determined to understand the invaders' technology. The university had been largely ignored by the aliens, who focused on military and government targets. They're not what I expected, she told her graduate student Binna, who had refused to abandon their research. Look how they move, always in groups of 3, always maintaining visual contact. What does that matter now? Binna asked bitterly. They've already won. Heijin smiled for the first time in days. Have they? I've been analyzing the data from that damaged communication device we salvaged. She pointed to a small alien object on her workbench, partially disassembled. Their quantum communication systems operate on principles similar to what we've been researching. But there's something strange about the frequency patterns. As Heijin worked through the night, the occupation continued to spread. Alien administrators began cataloging Earth's resources and population centers. Some humans accepted their new reality with resignation, while others formed hidden resistance groups. 3 weeks after the invasion, Colonel De Young, whose military unit had gone underground rather than surrender, found his way to Heijin's lab through a network of supporters. "We've been watching you," he said after confirming they weren't under surveillance. "Word is you've made progress understanding their tech." Heijin led him to a sealed room where she had constructed a crude device of human and alien parts. "More than progress," she said, her eyes bright with excitement despite her exhaustion. "Their systems are vulnerable to phase interference we've been experimenting with at the Institute. Can we use that against them?" Dae-young asked, hope entering his voice for the first time since the invasion. Heijin nodded. "We can do more than that. With the right modifications, we might be able to turn their entire network against them." As they spoke, alien Commander Sungmin received his first troubling report: unexplained failures in communication systems near Seoul. He dismissed it as minor technical problems. Like all Confederation officers, he had been trained to expect only token resistance from newly classified species. It would be the first of many miscalculations about humanity. 6 months passed under alien rule. On the surface, Earth seemed subdued. Confederation control centers operated in every major city. Mining operations stripped resources from the planet. Humans worked under alien supervision, watched by hovering drones and patrol units. But beneath this appearance of control, a global network had formed. Dr. Heijin's discovery about the aliens' quantum communication vulnerability had spread through hidden channels. Scientists and engineers around the world refined her initial design, creating devices that could interfere with Confederation technology. In an abandoned subway tunnel beneath Seoul, Colonel Dae-young addressed a room of resistance leaders. Maps and diagrams covered the walls. People from different countries and backgrounds stood together, united by a common purpose. "Operation Prometheus launches tomorrow at exactly 3 o'clock GMT, Dae-young explained, pointing to a world map marked with red dots. "Each team has their assigned targets. Remember, we need to capture their technology intact. This is not about destruction, it's about acquisition." Dr. Heijin demonstrated the key device, a small metal cylinder with intricate circuits. The interference generator creates a cascade failure in their systems. Their weapons will shut down. Their communication will go silent. Their security barriers will fail. But the effect only lasts 20 minutes, so timing is essential. As the resistance made final preparations, the aliens remained confident in their control. Fleet Commander Sungmin had reported occasional equipment malfunctions to Confederation headquarters but dismissed them as minor technical issues. When 3 o'clock GMT arrived, Heijin activated the master transmitter. Across the globe, resistance teams switched on identical devices. The effect was immediate and dramatic. Alien technology everywhere began to fail. In New York, Commander Kite led his team toward the main control center as alien weapons suddenly went dead. The confused guards tried to call for help, but their communication devices had failed too. "Move fast," Kite ordered. His team, wearing simple body armor and carrying basic weapons, rushed into the facility. They encountered little resistance as they secured room after room. Similar scenes played out worldwide. In London, Paris, Beijing, Cairo, and dozens of other cities, human forces overwhelmed the suddenly vulnerable alien outposts. At the orbital command ship, Sungmin watched in horror as his monitoring screens went dark one by one. "What's happening?" he demanded. "Restore communications immediately." His officers worked frantically, but without success. The ship's sensors could only show the most basic information, enough to see that humans were swarming their ground facilities. On Earth, engineer Suho directed a team through the captured Tokyo Control Center. "Secure everything. Don't damage any equipment." Unlike the resistance fighters, Suho wore no weapons. His tools were computers and scanners. "Look at this," he said, examining the alien database terminal. "Their security is completely down. We have access to everything: their star charts, their technologies, their species records." Suho connected his modified tablet to the alien system. "Incredible. I'm downloading their entire knowledge base. It's more than we could learn in a century." Across the planet, resistance teams secured alien ships that had been grounded for maintenance. Others captured weapons, vehicles, and equipment. Most importantly, they took hundreds of aliens prisoner not for revenge, but for information. In the London facility, Dr. Minji began interviewing a captured alien administrator. "We don't wish to harm you," she explained through a hastily assembled translation device. "But we need to understand your technology." The alien, named Boare, seemed stunned by the rapid reversal. "This is impossible," she kept saying. "No Class 4 species has ever resisted successfully." "Perhaps you classified us incorrectly," Minji suggested. As the day progressed, the aliens in orbit attempted to regain control. They sent landing parties to retake key facilities, but humans were prepared. The resistance had studied alien tactics and developed effective countermeasures. By nightfall, the Confederation forces faced an unprecedented situation. They controlled the skies, but humans controlled the ground. Sungmin made a difficult decision. "Pull all remaining personnel to orbital stations," he ordered. "We must regroup and call for reinforcements." As alien shuttles retreated to orbit, humans celebrated their first victory. But in the Seoul Command Center, Dae-young and Hae-jin knew the fight had only begun. "They'll be back with more ships, more weapons," Dae-young said, studying the captured alien tactical displays. Hae-jin nodded, but smiled. "Yes, but we won't be waiting as we were before." She gestured to where teams of scientists were already disassembling and studying alien technology. "We have their knowledge now. And humans are very quick learners." Across the room, an engineer successfully activated an alien power core. The device hummed to life, glowing with blue energy that represented humanity's first step toward the stars. 1 year after the initial invasion, Earth looked entirely different. Sleek structures with curved, metallic surfaces rose alongside traditional human buildings. Roads had given way to magnetic transport systems in major cities. Most striking were the defense platforms in orbit, human-built satellites incorporating alien technology, but with distinct modifications. In what had once been a simple aircraft hangar outside of Seoul, Admiral Woo Jin walked between rows of engineers working on impossibly complex equipment. The facility now housed Earth's first true starship construction complex. "How soon until the Prometheus is ready?" Woo Jin asked, stopping beside Chief Engineer Se-bin. Se-bin looked up from her tablet. 2 days. We've improved the alien drive system by nearly 30%. They never thought to reconfigure the quantum field generators this way." Woo Jin nodded, still amazed at how quickly humans had adapted the alien technology. "And the weapons systems?" "Better than anything in the Confederation fleet," Se-bin replied with pride. "Their designs were efficient but unimaginative. Our hybrid systems are more powerful and unpredictable." The Earth Defense Force now included 12 completed ships and 20 more under construction. Unlike the disc-shaped Confederation vessels, human ships featured sleek, arrow-like designs optimized for both speed and power. In the Global Command Center beneath the Himalayas, President Jin Ae met with the Earth Security Council. The room buzzed with activity as officers from formerly hostile nations worked side by side. "Our deep space sensors have detected the Confederation reinforcement fleet," reported Intelligence Director Youngmin. "They've just passed the orbit of Jupiter. Estimated arrival time, 18 hours. Jin Ae studied the tactical display. "How many ships?" 47, including 3 command vessels. Almost 4 times the size of the original invasion force. The room fell silent. Despite their rapid progress, humans were still outnumbered. Jin Ae's expression remained calm. "We've prepared for this. Admiral Woo Jin, are your forces ready?" Woo Jin's face appeared on the main screen. "Our 12 ships are in position. The orbital platforms are fully armed. Ground defenses are at maximum readiness. Then proceed with Operation Starbreak." Rather than waiting for the aliens to arrive, the human fleet moved out to meet them. The EDF Prometheus led the formation, its engines glowing with blue-white energy as it accelerated past the moon. On the bridge, Admiral Woo Jin addressed his crew. "For the first time, we meet the Confederation as equals. They expect frightened primitives. Let's show them how wrong they are." The human ships took up positions near Mars, hiding in the planet's magnetic field to mask their signatures. When the Confederation fleet passed, Wu Jin gave the order to attack. The Earth vessels emerged from concealment, striking with precision at the alien ship's vulnerable points, weaknesses they had learned from captured databases. The Confederation vessels, unprepared for such tactics, struggled to respond. Supreme Commander Du Hyun of the Confederation watched in disbelief as his formation broke apart under the human assault. "Impossible," he exclaimed. "Their weapons, they're using modified versions of our own technology." The human ships moved in patterns the alien tactical systems couldn't predict, using weapons modifications their shields weren't designed to repel. Most surprising was the speed of the human vessels, which darted between the larger alien ships with remarkable agility. "Target their command ship," Wu Jin ordered. "Disable, don't destroy." The Prometheus fired a concentrated burst at the Confederation flagship's propulsion system. The alien vessel slowed, then drifted to a halt as emergency systems activated. Wu Jin opened a communication channel. "Confederation vessel, this is Admiral Wu Jin of the Earth Defense Force. Your ship is disabled. Surrender or we will be forced to take more aggressive action." After a brief silence, Supreme Commander Du Hyun's face appeared on screen. His expression showed a mixture of shock and anger. "This is outrageous," he said. "Return our technology and surrender immediately." Wu Jin smiled coldly. "Your Confederation voted unanimously to enslave my species. You failed to recognize that humans adapt faster than any species you've encountered. We now control your pacification fleet, your databases, and soon, your main battle group." The battle lasted less than 6 hours. When it ended, 29 Confederation ships had been disabled, 5 destroyed after refusing to surrender, and the remainder had retreated toward the outer solar system. In the aftermath, President Jin Ae addressed the United Earth Council. "Today we send our message to every world in the Confederation. Earth is free, and humanity will never be enslaved. More importantly, we offer alliance to any species seeking liberation from a system built on subjugation." The transmission spread across the galaxy, reaching worlds where other species had long chafed under Confederation rule. On dozens of planets, the message was received with cautious hope. Perhaps the humans would succeed where others had failed. 5 years after Earth's successful defense, the Grand Chamber that once hosted the Galactic Confederation looked very different. The circular room still accommodated beings of various shapes and sizes, but now representatives from 37 formerly subjugated species sat alongside humans. The old Confederation insignia had been replaced by a new symbol, a spiral galaxy with all stars shining equally bright. Chancellor Hanul of Earth stood at the center of the chamber. Unlike the old Confederation leaders who wore elaborate robes to signify their status, Hanul dressed simply in a blue suit. Her voice was clear and confident as she addressed the assembly. "Today we welcome 3 new members to our interstellar alliance," she announced. "The people of Proxima Centauri, the collective consciousness of the Mira system, and the aquatic civilization of Tau Ceti have all chosen to join us as equal partners." Applause and various alien expressions of approval filled the room. Where once there had been a strict hierarchy, now all species had equal voice and vote. "Our alliance continues to grow not through conquest, but through mutual respect," Hanul continued. "We share technology, resources, and knowledge freely. We defend each member world from those who still cling to the old ways of domination." In the 5 years since Earth's victory, human ships had traveled to hundreds of worlds. Some had gone as diplomats, others as liberators, but all carried the same message: the age of classification and servitude was over. Not all former Confederation species had embraced the new order. Some of the most powerful worlds, those who had benefited most from the old system, remained hostile. Their fleets occasionally clashed with alliance vessels in distant star systems. After the session, Chief Diplomat Unji met with a delegation from one such world. Former First Speaker Tae-won, once the highest authority in the Confederation, now represented only his own species. His once proud bearing had diminished, his robes were simpler and his manner less commanding. "My people face rebellion on all sides," Tae-won explained, his voice low. "Our outer colonies have declared independence. Without access to our former resource worlds, our economy is collapsing. We request Earth's protection and assistance. Eun-ji studied him thoughtfully. The same protection you denied Earth? The same assistance you withheld from dozens of species? Taewon lowered his gaze. We were wrong, he admitted. Terribly wrong. We never understood what makes humans different. And what is that? Asked Eun-ji. You could have destroyed us, enslaved us as we intended to do to you. Instead, you offer a better way. That is something no Confederation species would have conceived. Later that day, Admiral Wu Jin's flagship, the Prometheus, prepared to depart for a diplomatic mission to a distant star system. The ship had been upgraded several times since the war, incorporating technologies from various alliance members. Its crew now included not just humans but representatives from 15 different species. In his quarters, Wu Jin reviewed messages from Earth. His daughter had just started university, studying xenobiology. His wife had been elected to the Global Council. These personal connections reminded him why the alliance mattered. It created a future where all beings could live in peace. On the bridge, his first officer, Junho, waited with the day's reports. The former Confederation core worlds have formally requested peace talks, Junho said. Their representatives will meet us at the neutral station in the Arcturus system. Wu Jin nodded. They've realized they can't win through force. The question is whether they're truly ready to accept equality. The Prometheus engaged its drive system, creating a controlled quantum fold in space that allowed faster-than-light travel. As the stars blurred outside the viewports, Wu Jin reflected on how far humanity had come. In just 6 years, humans had gone from an isolated species facing enslavement to the architects of a new galactic order. They had mastered technologies that had taken other civilizations centuries to develop. Most importantly, they had chosen a different path than their would-be conquerors. Back on Earth, Dr. He-jin, whose discovery had helped spark the human resistance, now led the interspecies scientific cooperative. Today, she welcomes students from 20 different worlds to her laboratory. The greatest strength of the Alliance is not our technology or our fleets, she told them as they gathered around her workstation. It's our diversity of thought. Each species sees problems differently, approaches challenges from unique perspectives. Together, we can achieve what none of us could accomplish alone. As she spoke, a message arrived from a distant research outpost. Another former Confederation world was requesting membership in the Alliance. The old order was fading, planet by planet, replaced by something better, a galaxy where cooperation replaced domination and differences were celebrated rather than classified. The stars had never shined brighter.